Welcome to another painting tutorial. In this one we're going to look at this Terminator Librarian for Space Marines. I didn't really do any chapter specific markings on him, so I'm going to use him as a generic Terminator Librarian Space Marine, obviously. Okay, so any Librarian is always blue, and I used basically the Ultramarines blue. So here we go walking through. So everything's assembled, cleaned up, and this is from the old metal model, but the new resin fine cast is basically the same. Tried to give it a fairly even spray paint coat of flat black spray paint, and then touched it up. So started off with McCraig blue for the base coat, so that's kind of your nice even blue color. And then I'm going to be giving that a wash once that's all done. And there we are with the new dark blue Nagrath Nightshade, I think it's called. And yeah, so that's almost like a dark wash in all the shadows, and then I'm going to start building it up with this Altdorf Guard Blue, whatever. So I'm painting basically all the flat areas except for the deep recesses down in there, so just trying to get any of the flat surfaces and any even areas. Now I'm doing some of the base coats here for the other colors, so I've got some the bone type colors here. Different reds here, so I think this is one's corn red, one's Mephiston red, and using the sort of the skull colors on the scrolls and a light brown from the GW triads, or the shades, I guess, for the cloak thing there. And so the idea is just that they contrast each other just a little bit, and actually, sorry, the bone is that and that, and then this is an off-white, so it's going to be highlighted with the pallid flesh, whatever, pallid flesh. Going with the dark gold there, and lead belcher for all of those. Sorry, not lead belcher, the base silver one. So then for the crux terminus and that little symbol on his knee, that's going to be the so like a stone, kind of a gray. Oh, and this is the dwarf flesh sort of base coat. There's the backside there. So I did these tubes here in that same red. So there's just a little bit of red here and there for contrast. Silver on all of these little things here with the GW gold. And yeah, so that's the base colors. Now I'm trying to do a bit of highlighting here and washes. So for all of the black areas, that got the Newland oil wash. For the red areas, that got the red wash, and then these areas here, so because they're not that dark, they got the sepia wash. And for the gold, that got the Agrax Earthshade, or Devlin Mud, if you're using the old paints. So there we go. So you can see nice pools of wash in there, giving me nice layers. I'm using one of the purples there. It doesn't really matter which one. I just like to do purple because I always end up with reds elsewhere, and I don't want it to look the same. Okay, oh, and the flesh wash on there. So that's kind of the shade areas of everything. I used some of the black wash in these areas here, and that's kind of the only detail I'm going to give those. I don't really give that much attention. And then whatever color of the textures you want. So that's just the main brown one, the GW texture paint. And this is Steel Legion brown around the outside there. I used to use Kemery brown on the old paints. Okay, so now I'm starting to build up some of the highlights, and you can see that kind of on the cloak here. So I always get this name wrong, but it's Ushabti or Ushabti, and it's kind of like an off-white. So that's kind of a bonish kind of color there, and then these things here are going to get a more of a cool white kind of color. So all the paper is going to be a cool white, and this is going to be kind of a warm white, and that'll be the same as the skull stuff here. And I think it's Screaming Skull is the highlight there, and then these ones here is Pallid Elf Flesh, I think it's called. And so the gold's kind of working up the highlights. So same idea. Generally, with all my highlights, I'm painting the flat surfaces with the first layer, and then the second layer will just be kind of edge highlights and sort of spectral type highlights. And you can see here, so this, for this kind of a design on here, I gave it the orange base coat and then kind of highlighted it with some of the orange layers and a little bit of yellows. Didn't really pop as much as I'd like, but that would have taken a lot of time to make it really, really bright and fiery looking, and I wanted to move along faster than that. And you can see there, so on a tabletop sort of level that looks good. Up close it's not quite as nice. And I've highlighted up some of these silver bits here after the wash, and I'm going to be edge highlighting the blue if I haven't done it already. There we are. That's blue edge highlighting. So I'm just trying to painting around the edges with the lighter blue there from the layers, and I'm going to be giving that the blue glaze as well, just to help brighten up the blue a little bit more because I found it a little dull, and help blend those colors just a touch. The keys there, I need the silver. Not a lot of silver on this model, but it helps contrast some of the gold areas there. And GW likes to use the gold highlight, or sorry, the silver highlight for the edges of the gold. I don't tend to do that. I like to just use the gold one, even though it's pretty weak in terms of pigment. And yeah, so we're basically getting done here now. That's all of those scroll work there has been done. So I kind of paint the highlight along the edge and then try to blend it a little bit, just using a bit of a wet blend. I mean, the edge is painted on solid, and then you're just trying to kind of fade it in so it fits. So kind of do some solid colors around the outside and then just try to blend the edges. And same with all of the purity seals and the back thing here. And then this is the reds I'm doing there, so that's the Wazdaka red sort of triad, and this one here's the corn red one, so it's a kind of a bright red and a dull red, just so that everything doesn't look the same. And then what else we got here? There's a bit of detail here and there. I'm going to have to do these purity seals, and they're done. So here we are, all done. Some of the pictures here are better than the others, sorry about that. I used some of the GW tufts there, and I also dry brushed that texture. So working our way around. And yeah, nice model, going to be kind of a standard go-to in an army. So that's why I painted him pretty generic looking. And yeah, your librarian blue. Oh, and I think I forgot to mention, I used Rhinox hide for all of the scribbles on the scrolls and the purity seals. So I just take a fine brush and just kind of dab and tap along as I go, and just try to make it as fine as possible. And you can see that there. No real pattern to it, just trying to make it look as though there's a bit of text. And yep. So I apologize for some of the pictures, not as nice as I usually take. I don't have my usual setup. I'm getting all ready for Dark Vengeance now, and this is probably one of the last models I'll be able to paint. Before that, I'll try to do some unboxing and sprue pics and stuff like that on my website. So check that out. My blog is it'slikeWatchingPaintDry.blogspot.com, and there will be a link in the description below. You can just click on that rather than typing it in. And yeah, hope you enjoyed it. And another model for my collection. See you next time.